Hello! How is everybody today? My name is Leigh-Pink. This is worldwidepredictions.com. Hi, Cindy. So today we want to go over some world predictions. And then make a correction. And then also we want to talk a cute little story at the end. Okay. World predictions. I want to start with the world predictions. Predictions on 9/14/15. The introduction to Donald J. Trump. Predicted in 2015. Spirit showed the Republican debate coming. With a more light-hearted tone, they showed a visual of Donald Trump pushing a red button. The podium, as if it gave show like the Family Feud. He very quickly responded, America. And that's it. I'd say that prediction happened. Okay. Huge scandal coming. White House tit for tat. What's in it for me? I do you a favor, you do me a favor. Brush for cash. This is a scandal that will eventually be his undoing. Impeachment tried twice. That's what we predicted. And then we said it would be a mockery. Which brings us into today. Prediction 6/7/17. I'm not going to sign that. I had a visual of someone blowing a kiss to one of those dolls, those Russian dolls where you pop them open, and there's another doll, and you pop them open, and there's another doll, and it just keeps going. Meanwhile, another leader was insulted by the United States. What a mockery. Meanwhile, another world leader insulted by the U.S. leader, similar to that that served the U.K. So yeah, I'm going to say that's. I mean, I'll leave that for interpretation. Seems like it's happening right now. Again, with these very old predictions, 2017, where we have old predictions about Donald J. Trump sort of unfolding. With that said, under these same predictions that I've just read to you, there is this. Uh-oh. This is not a good sign. Storm like Katrina. After striking the islands, it will bury the U.S. in devastation, all in its wake. The impact will hit Florida the most, but the refocus will be on the efforts around the area. FEMA, resources spread thin. Economic, spread thin. So much rage from the U.S. people will have to wait so long. The Florida hurricane is a week's wait. So it's not that far-fetched that resources would be spread very, very thin. I don't understand the economics. I didn't get it at the time. What's going on here? The White House actions, fat and corrupt. Shady deals, self-serving gains, scandals that then come out later in November. The event happens in the summer, but then the scandals come out in November. Some of the worst actions of corruptions in the U.S. history of presidential running his own politics with powers to the president, while others suffered. Predictions 9/4/18. There's no words to this destruction that is coming. It is destruction. Item visual number 7. Trouble in the Trump's wire taps. Somebody's tapping him. In the U.S., Russian equivalent caught red-handed. His demise mirrors that of Nixon. Like Nixon, he will fall. That is the extent of Donald J. Trump. For me, I want to now let you know that our focus goes directly into one direction, and that is to predict these floods. Predict these floods, predict these hurricanes. There's a lot of talk on the internet that feels that I should focus on the big boys, nuclear weapons. What's Israel doing? What's going on here? I, for one, would like to very much save a life or two. I, for one, would very much have the capacity to just say, listen, there's a flood coming at Betty with her eggs. You need to pack up and leave. In this moment, I'm for Aunt Betty. And I'm for Aunt Betty because I can do it. I'm for Aunt Betty because I know, I've realized, now that you guys allow me to market these predictions, now that you've been very generous. Oh my goodness, thank you. Very generous with donations, and I can't get into GoFundMe to say thank you. I don't know what that's all about. So thank you. I've been running ads, and 50,000 people are reading these ads. So if we have a prediction, and it says, boom, there's a Florida hurricane coming, and I can promote that before it happens, that's impact. That's what I feel. I might be wrong. But I honestly think we can make impact with that. But I get it. I get that there's a lot of you thinking that I'm on the wrong page, that I should be focused on where the nuclear bomb that Vladimir Putin is going to drop should be. But is that going to change? And I have to say, I don't think it is. I don't think I'm making much of a difference in that larger scope of event. And I say that very loudly because I tried to promote these predictions. I tried to promote the nuclear weapons. And all of the social media said, no. So if there's a way to get to these larger messages that I keep trying to hit, I'm open to suggestions. Whew. Heavy conversation. Sorry, I'm not trying to pick on anybody. I do want to explain my positions. We are very focused now on storms. I know I said I was focused on what's coming next week. Okay, that suddenly got pushed on the back burner. Because here's what they do say. The spirits have said, we get ravaged. We get one storm after another storm, after another storm, after another storm. It's almost like the rain decided to all fall now. And so there's a sense of all of that is sort of kind of unfolding. And they're making it sound like you guys are not on the ball. Well, humanity, you're having your wars, you're having your political boo-boos. You're fighting amongst each others, but there's something else coming, and it is water. So that's the focal point for us. So the psychics might be doing other things, okay? Moving on from that wonderful message. What wasn't too tough. We talked yesterday. And the subject was, what is the spiritual realm's position on the death penalty? Mm-hmm. After we were all done, it was kind of like directing, It's like, wrap, we're all done, guys, wrap. And then Marcus comes up to me. Are you okay? You understand our position on things, right? Are you okay? Did you get enough sleep yesterday? I know you have insomnia issues. I just want to make sure we're okay. I'm like, what? And keep in mind, me and Marcus, this is the figure always in my ear. This is the flaw of who I am, because he's the one I trust no one but Marcus. Marcus is my most trusted for Spirit, he gives me the information, and I trust everything that comes pouring through. And one of the flaws when you do your readings is we're getting the information and nobody gets through but through Marcus and Diana and Mika. And one of the flaws is they're getting the information, but it's always second-handed. So I'm saying, oh, this is, you're sick, you have a problem here, boom, 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 boom. And then it ends up being for Aunt Betty because you're getting it second-handed. Getting off topic, sorry. So you okay? What's the problem here? What are we talking about? It seemed like you had a lot of doubt on our position. And so we played back the tape, the last video where I'm all dressed in black. We played back the tape, and it did seem kind of was in doubt. So, for everyone clearly paying attention, what is the spiritual realm's position on the death penalty? They wrote it in stone. They put it in a vault. Indiana Jones tried to find this vault. It says, thou shalt not kill. Understood? It leaves no room for error. It leaves no room for ambiguity. It does not say, thou shalt not kill, unless you're the authority, then it's okay. It doesn't say that. It simply says, thou shalt not kill. End of story. Now, why? Oh, why? Because let's be clear. Even Eric Leigh-Pink wouldn't blink an eye if somebody got rid of Hitler. You know what I mean? Let's be fair here. But, why? Why not? You know what I mean? They did all these atrocious things to us. Isn't it right that we get them back? But here's the thing. Your very existence, my very existence, everybody exists for this thing where you got it all backwards. We have all these movies that talk about how the monsters are lurking up, the demons are coming up, they're going to take over the world. No! We are here to help them. We step in this mud willingly so that we can bring them back up to them. We're here hoping to show that the darkness, love, compassion is the right way. Kindness is the right way. Treating your others right, talking is the right way. This is how we show each other. Come back to us. Appear in the spiritual realm where love dictates the terms. That is the goal, the mission of what you're trying to accomplish as a species. Shooting them does not accomplish that. But it does justify. So it's a question of what your goal is. If your goal is to get rid of murder, you can't murder. Moving on from that conversation, another correction, another quick conversation for someone else out there who is suffering from trauma, who has lost everything, who has nothing left, who finds himself with nothing, with the shirt on their back and nothing is left, just people helping, and that's it. I present 3 different messages for you, and I hope you hear it. I hope you see this video after the last video, because the last video, I don't think I really cemented what needs to be said. If we're in a state of trauma, if we're in a state of difficulty, I would say three different. I don't know you, but they want to present three different possibilities, three different scenarios. Number one is Shiva's way. Number one is an understanding that sometimes the universe destroys everything around us so we can rebuild, so we can begin again, so we can have a new life, a happier one, a better one. That wasn't as well. So it destroys it for you and it says, start over. This is something that's happening in a lot. The year of the snake coils its old skin away. That's what's happening here. You're removing the old way so we can start anew. And make no mistake, they're going to burn it all down so that we can start anew. That's Shiva's way. Now, there's a completely different thing. Violation. We're violated. Ain't no going around it. People violate us all the time, one way or another. Greed, selfishness, being treated, controlled, you name it. In these moments, what's the purpose? Is there a purpose? Does there even have a purpose? For all this filth that just happened to you? For all this horror, that just unspeakable nightmare that unfolded for you? What's the meaning of that? It's just justice. Nothingness. Just sorrow and pain and trauma, and that's all you get. Right? Right. Here's the thing. As many of you know, John Hendricks was the last me. We tried this before. As John Hendricks. You can look him up. Tennessee Prophet. Before that was Connor. Connor would only last to be about 21 years old. He lived in a very rich, powerful family. Titan-like. They knew he was gay. I was gay. They knew it. But everything was image to them. The servants looked down. Everybody walked perfectly. Everybody dressed perfectly. Everybody had the top hats and the nice clothes. We were all presented that way. So the notion of some 16-year-old boy kissing another boy, unacceptable. I was discarded like a piece of trash. Just like that. Thrown out. With not even the shirt on my back. And that was in Chicago. It was bad. And I pleaded with others. I asked for other people to help. I wanted people to help me, but nothing came through. And then I slowly died of consumption. It was only in that moment that these doctor, this wonderful wife, helped me before I died. I remember crossing over. I was on this bridge. I was told by pretty much everyone, as a human being, I was burning in hell, being gay. I'm on this bridge. There is Marcus in the background, and Mika, and Kay, all of the whole group, my wife. They're all just standing on the other side of the bridge. McCabe is leading them. McCabe, as I've explained to you, is this almost creature-like dragon. Like he's a bear-looking creature. He looks like a lion, but he's got multiple faces, right? And so I'm looking at this creature. And I said, "Are you him? Are you the devil? Are you here to take me to hell?" And I'll never forget it. Marcus turns around. He thinks you're low. and McCabe just looked back to him. How dare you? And he kept raising his hand out and says, "Here, take my hand. Take my hand. So you can remember me." And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm going to hell one way or the other. Okay, I'll take this guy's hand. A flood of memories. This was my father. This was my caretaker. Eons and eons of time. Weddings, you name it. Teacher. Console, everything. So I just grabbed him, fell on my knees, screaming, they abandoned me, they abandoned me. They all just started hugging me. We're here. It was a moment we would agree on. A moment of vengeance. Fast forward to Eric Leigh-Pink. He's living in Chicago. Everything is falling apart. As somebody's life might be. Everything's just crumbling. It's all crashing. It's all burning. It's all just kaboosh. And in that moment, I moved back home. My mom, B, she loves to watch her foster children. Adores foster children. Right? And I'm like, oh my goodness. Toys are everywhere, the whole nine yards. And so I went to sleep, and I'm like, okay, guys, what's going on? I need a life here, come on. And they were saying, "Ain't it grand, Eric? Ain't it grand, ain't it grand?" And I was like, I got up from that. I'm sorry. Do you know who you're talking? This is Eric Leigh-Pink. What are you talking about? I was like, oh, it's so grand. And they kept saying as I was falling asleep, remember, 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 remember. And so as I fell asleep, I remembered. And I remembered Connor. I remembered that whole life. And I woke up. And it was an epiphany. The universe put me there. The universe put me there. It ripped me from where I was and said, "Here, you belong there." To finish the story. Because here's the message for everyone out there that has trauma, for everyone out there looking at trauma, for everyone out there saying trauma. Everyone's saying, what's the point? What's the reason? What I was violated? What purpose could it possibly serve? And my answer to you is this: you give it one. You give it one with strength and you vigor, and you remind the darkness that gave it to you. I will not be trifled with. That's the point. Sounds strange, I know. before B passed away, and they're B's, let's be fair here, there were 94 foster children that we help. Most of them are groups. But between me, my father, my brother, B, all these different individuals, they all attended in this space of helping foster children. And that was the message to the darkness. It was clear and apparent. You attacked me. It was direct. It had no purpose, no meaning. And I gave it one. That's what you should do. And when you do it, you should know it releases you. He threw, I can leave you with this one minute. He threw Campbell soup. It was soup. When my father threw me out of the house as Connor. The most traumatic experience of one of my existence, right? And he's telling me to get out of his house. I'm not to take his shirt. I'm not to take anything. Get out. And he threw this soup at me. And I remember thinking it was either clam chowder or potato soup. And I just wiped it away and I left the house. And I was asking my mother for help. And she just brushed me off. It was a very ghastly moment. And I left. And ever since then, when I have clam chowder, it really is, yeah, F you. You know? So I just want to point that out. You give it meaning. That's the key. That's always the key. To give it meaning. So we have Sheba's way. We have the act of trauma. But then we have just turmoil. Right? None of our lives are turmoilless. Where's my ball? Oh, it's over there. Lives fall apart. Things go awry. We lose our jobs. Things like that. Advice on that direction comes with the wisdom of the great Shimmer, who says and reminds of the great Prince Siddhartha, who says, just breathe. It actually works. I know it sounds silly, but just breathe. Breathe in through your nose, out through your nose. Do it slowly. It takes you back to your basics. It removes all these thoughts. It takes it all away, right? And just reminds you back to your basics. When B passed away, I removed all the pieces. I stopped working. I stopped reading. I did this. And that's all. It was a once weekly thing. But we talked a lot. We weren't doing world predictions like we're doing now. That's what we did. Right? So go back to your basics. So when you're in a state of trauma, do that. Taste that. I leave you with one divine message when it comes to trauma. Trauma is not the right word I would use here, but difficulty in life, perhaps. I don't know. What's the last story for today? I didn't know. It's a beautiful story. Every day, or every week, every other week now. I go to Mexico. I do readings. Sometimes I go there to visit friends. I cross this path of a young boy whose shoes are worn, his pants are worn. He's always dirty, always has dirt, missing several teeth. His eyes seem scarred. His hair is dirty. He wears this cute little hat on his head. And at the top of his lungs, he sings. He just sings. He sings and he sings and he sings. I don't think I've ever gone there and not heard him sing. And he's actually really good at singing. And each time I've seen him, I leave him $1. He winks at me. I move on. Christmas time, I leave him 20. He sings. You see a figure suffering. I say you, but most of us suffering. They don't have shoes. They're probably not going to eat at night. Things are going to go south for them. Life is rough, filled with grit, pain, at a child's age. I see absolute beauty. Beauty in a sense, and I see myself. There's something to be said. I don't know. Call it arrogance. Whatever you want to call it. Of being able to predict COVID. Of being able to predict Vladimir Putin's going to invade Ukraine. Israel's going to be attacked. The United States is going to be attacked. That one hasn't happened yet. Hurricane Milton. Hurricane Helene. All of those are predictions with unfeathered accuracy. That level of power, that level of gain, came from that grit from that boy. There was a time distant and long, long ago where I was like that boy. I would light a candle and hope for a prediction, and hope that the gods would bless me with a message. And I would cherish that message. So when I see that boy, I think to myself, you're on your way. The grit, the suffering, the pain, all that comes with that. It gets you there. Elevates you up. If it were easy, you would not elevate. You would not grow. You would not become more. You would not become greater. And so however painful the moment may be, know it's not in vain. That's all. Thank you. Okay, questions. Woo-wee, serious. Hi, Eric. Oh. Hi, hello. What is this view request? I don't know what that means. Can I push that? I don't know what that means. Somebody tell me what that means. Hello. Questions. Who has questions? Nobody has questions? That's very strange. Okay, lots of questions. Are you going to write a book one day? You know, I'll be honest with you. Who wrote that? I have always wanted to share death. Stories of death. The spiritual realm took me, just like they do world predictions, they took me on basic rides, I guess, where they showed me from somebody living to death, what happened to them, boom, 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 boom. Both going downward and going upward, right? I would adore to just sit one day and just write all of those stories. But there's a part of me now with this where we might just tell it here. Why not? They're very lavish, long-winded stories. So I don't know how I'm going to do that, especially when the Spirit's saying, these are too long. So we're working on that, but that's one of the stories I very much always wanted to share with people. There's also the cosmos, things about the cosmos that I've always wanted to share. There's a lot of extra stuff that I keep in mind, but the Spirits always keep me in mind. So predictions, we're focused on predictions. Request to be in your... Okay, here it is again. Is somebody requesting to be in your live video? Shouldn't they be able to just come? No? I don't understand that. Someone needs to explain that to me. It does not say thou shalt not imprison. No. It does not say thou shalt not imprison. It does not say that. And not only does it not say that, but look at your face. Look at it. Right? Let's say Christian. The great beast with 7 heads and 10 horns was casted down into the flames of fire. I'm sorry. Why don't we shoot him? Can't we? I don't mean to be mean here, but can't we just end this? Like, no, why are we keeping him? So that is a reflection of how they respond to things. Even in the worst of all monsters, they're still keeping him. Yeah, they buried him, but you know what I mean? So there's still a sense of cherishment of life, cherishing of life is still very, very important to them. What I will say, what they just corrected me on, is an understanding that there are rules in the good book that say something to the effect of, well, if one kills, that should be killed, right? But that's more in lines with like a rattlesnake at their door. Of course you're going to shoot it because, you have to protect yourself. But that's different. That's a different scenario. And so they hold to the understanding that life is precious no matter what. Imprisonment, absolutely. We want to keep the rest of the public safe at all times. Hi. Are you sure going to write Have you ever considered that your predictions affect the natural timeline for the worse? Yes, I absolutely do. We are very cautious in what we say and how we say it and how it is presented. So when you read those vague predictions, there's a reason why they're vague. That's what I would say. There have been several examples where we might have stepped into something that we didn't. The goal is to alter it for the positive, but we're human. Yeah, I'm not going to deny that. I don't think it's anything nefarious where we've hurt people or anything like that. But there have been very multiple occasions, especially when it comes to economics, where things went south, horribly south, because we gave information away that we were not supposed to give away. So, I hope that answers your questions. If you're asking more specifically how it is, but make no mistake. What I yield with these predictions, with premonitions, with this here, is power. And it could totally be abused in a very negative way. The notion of me abusing it would infuriate them. So, and then they would be very upset with me, and that would cause problems. We were working on. I was doing. We were Trump. It was Trump, 1919, and we were typing. Bah, 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 bah. And I was really working on the comment section. We were at the beach. My kids were playing, and they were playing, trying to build sandcastles, but they weren't building them very well. And Shimmy showed up. This big white smith. And he pops out, little kid. I remember seeing Shimmy just for a second. He had red eyes. I've never seen Jimmy had red eyes before. And then he turned to me and said, "Shouldn't you be playing with your kids?" And I said, "Well, I'm writing this for you, basically. I didn't say it that way, but I'm saying I'm writing this, and so I'm writing, and then we're talking about that, and he's joking about sharing a cookie, right? Fast forward. A week later, I'm not getting anything. No readings, nothing. Zip, nada. And so Marcus finally showed up, and he says, there's figures out there that feel you should spend more time with your family. We'll be back in a month. So it's not something that they trifle with. It's not something that they allow me to do bad things with, if that's in question in any way. Everything's in service of helping others, with an understanding that I need to eat. But yeah. Questions. Who's got questions? That was a wonderful question, by the way. I love that question. Anybody else have any more questions? Hi. Why do we learn through experience? Do we have an opinion or other information regarding the second coming of Christ? Why do we learn through experience? I'm not entirely understanding. Why do we learn from experience? Do you have an opinion of other information regarding the second coming of Christ? Well, the second coming of Christ, amazing. So that's coming in the 22nd century. I will say it's presented differently. The figure in the 22nd century is more of a leader, But as it goes for why do we learn through experience? Why do we learn through experience? Me. Okay. I was a seer in Greece. I was a seer in Nepal. I was a seer in France. I was a seer in the United States. I was a seer in Australia. I was a seer in the Nordic region. Oh, that was a fun one. Nordic region. Those were the different places that I've been. Then there's clusters. Nepal, I was there for a long time. Africa. Oh, I totally forgot Africa. Africa, I was there for a long time. Both of them showing me different versions of me. Different versions of what I can do with these talents, what I can use for these talents, how they can be altered, doing it differently, how it's done in China and Asia and how it's done in the States are completely different ways. But if you push them together, if you merge them together, you meld and create something that is than you. Right? But with all of these experiences, to get that, you have to have triumphs. You have to have failures. You have to have difficulties. You have to have paths that are difficulties to take you there. You have to climb that mountain that says, where is the answer here? You have to have the bleeding feet. That's a part of the system created to push those worthy forward. Does that make sense? Am I answering that correctly? The last 2 minutes. Yeah, there's another answer to your same question. Why are we learn through experience? Yeah, compassion, love, kindness, suffering, pain, horror, trauma. Its flip side is compassion, is kindness, is love, is giving. So even though these horrible things are happening to you, the growth of your compassion towards others is also happening. You should acknowledge that. You should acknowledge that positive side is unfolding. That you are becoming more compassionate. That you are becoming more giving. That you are giving more. That you are caring more. Right? It's emotional, but that comes later of control. Now we got questions. What if I said that the Great Wall of China is actually the earthly boundary of Assange? I don't know what that means. All I can say, we all talk about our walls. I have the privilege. Well, it's not privilege, but, nowadays when we look at hurricanes, we look at it from high up above in the sky. And it's very easy to say, okay, that's Florida, there's a big hurricane hitting, or okay, that's this state, no, there's a hurricane hitting, right? There's no lines. There's just no lines. Lines are things that humans put in. They put lines there. You said there's a line there. You said there's a line there. You said there's a line there. And some of you built lines, fine. But the reality is it was never built that way. You made it that way. That's a lie you built. Which events that happened in... Oh, I lost that one. Which events that happened in the White House on Friday and the ignorance of the presidents are you seeing that we are possibly on the brink of World War III? The threat, as I pointed out, is he has removed the CIA, he has removed the FBI, and we are fully expecting enemies at the gate. We are fully expecting full-fledged terror attacks. In both cases, a bomb blows up, and then the airplane incident was presented with it, but now you're getting the impression the airplane incident might come more in 2026. So, but as we move closer to the timeline, and by closer to the timeline, we have 2 timelines. One is the spring, which is coming up right around the corner. The second one is very, very specific. We are getting multiple terror attacks during New Year's. During a little bit before Christmas, a little bit after Christmas is what I got from it. So, scaring all you people. Wait! I leave you with this final message. We're going way over. Mika's already yelling at me. It's already going into an hour. Life-giving power. we're moving into a direction where suddenly we get rid of AIDS. Suddenly we start to get rid of cancer. Suddenly the cells that are eating away are then shrinking. And then we start fixing ailments that weren't there before. We start reconstructing legs. Then it moves forward. And from manipulating the cell, we start to freeze it, we start to cold it and keep it in place. And all of a sudden, we start living super long. But then it grows more. We figure out a way of reversing the cell. Making us all look like we're 30. Now, all of that comes in a sort of like TV kind of, so we start with the box TV and then it slowly turns into the mega TV that we all have today. None of that's happening tomorrow. But all the same, life-giving power is coming. This really cool technology that's going to just keep growing and growing and growing and growing. It creates a fountain of youth moment. I think at its peak, we live to be 800 years old. We do seem to be still mortal, though. Okay, let's see if there's any other questions. No. Hello, brother. How are you doing? I'm good. Do you think climate disaster will come before 2027? Climate disaster hits in 2027. It feels like the weather is getting chaotic. Yeah, we're expecting a major hit this time, but 2027 is when the exodus begins. 2027 is when everything starts melting and all the everything starts being consumed. It's, for some reason, we're off. There's this expectation that it slowly happens. No. It happens all at once. So. Okay, I think that's it, guys. If I missed your questions, I'll get them next time. I think this one went very well. Again, very long, too long. But that's okay. We'll get it done. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for attending. I look forward to seeing you in the next time. Bye-bye, Worldwide Predictions. Bye-bye.